Hello, welcome back to the ministry. And today we're talking about you're playing chess, not checkers. So I got a whole story that I'm gonna give y'all in the next video. But right now I'm on a bit of a sabbatical from online. So by the time you see this video, it'll probably be a week after I recorded it. Okay? So there's that. But the Lord gave me this, and I decided I had the time to record it, so I was going to record it now. So, what is it that I want you guys to do? It's a little fun activity. If none of you play chess, I suggest you download the game. There's a couple nice ones on a lot of devices. I even downloaded a really nice one for my computer. But there's a reason for that. About a year and a half ago, Keys to the Kingdom did a word called "You're playing chess, not checkers." Well, actually, no, it wasn't called "You're playing chess, not checkers." Her word was called, "You're entering a serious relationship, chess, not checkers." That's what it was. Now, it came back to my mind yesterday. It wasn't yesterday. It was about 3 days ago. I was playing chess on my electronic device. And when I was playing it, I was having a bit of difficulty with the game. And I'm like, why am I having such a difficulty with the game? Well, God's kind of shown me that whenever during certain seasons, I'll have wins and then I'll have losses. And I notice in the season that I may be going through a little bit more warfare, I start to lose certain games. Because God also has me playing Solitaire Monopoly, which I've fallen in love with. And I know why he has me playing that game. But I started back to playing my chess like a week ago. So I started playing chess and I noticed I was losing. I'm like, why am I losing? What am I doing that is wrong that I'm losing? And God kind of drew my attention to something. There's this old saying people will say, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And this is key because you will actually, this is why I tell you to download the game. Download it and see how you play. Why? Because in downloading it and seeing how you play, you're going to find out strategically why the enemy beats you in certain areas and why you win in certain areas, okay? So, as I was playing, first thing you have to know is your pieces. What piece does what thing in order for you to win? Now, the one thing I will say about when I started playing the game a couple of days ago in comparison to when I played it before, because it was my first time playing, I researched each piece and what it does. But when I started playing it recently, I did not look at the pieces again. I did not re-familiarize myself with what the pieces do and how to use them. I just jumped in and started playing the game. And that's a tell too. Some of you need to start paying attention during certain seasons of warfare how you operate. Okay? Because some of you may be operating the board to your warfare incorrectly. I'm going to compare my winning season to the ones that I have not been winning, okay? In the season that I was winning, as you know, chess or checkers, you start out with two lines, your two lines of your pieces and your opponent's two lines of pieces. And when I think about it, how I operated strategically in the game that I was winning is I automatically positioned the pieces that were in my line of defense in a specific way, moving my pieces outward in a very strategic line. Okay? So that they were just right behind one another, almost creating a angular defense when I was moving out my pieces. That's what you do when you are trying to win. You position, and for my football lovers out here, that's the same way. You angle your defense in such a way that your best players go out first. And the thing that I also was doing, the queen is one of the most powerful players on the board next to the king. My ladies out here waiting on marriage, you to your husband, you are one of the most powerful players, okay? In the circle, you're going to be a powerful person. But if you mishandle your position, follow me. If you mishandle your position, you're going to end up in trouble. During that time when I was winning, because there's only two things that happened in the season that I was winning. I either won the game or it was a draw. Okay? During the season I was winning, I let my queen stand back by the king and stayed there. The queen piece did not move from away from the king. Okay? And allowed the bishops, the pawns, the rooks, all of these pieces to operate in their best position and their power position as they were moved out. Okay? That's what I did. Now let's flip it. If I was losing, you know what I was doing? I was focusing one on the opposite side of the board, which was the enemy's maneuvers. And I was thinking about how do I get over there? Do you understand how this is detrimental? In the season that you may be in, your focus may be too much on where you're trying to get to. You understand what I'm saying? And you're missing the mark because of the fact that you're too focused on getting the fruit that's on the opposite side of the board. I got to get to that position. I got to cross over. I got to get to where I'm trying to go. I got to get, for those of y'all waiting on marriage, I got to get to the marriage. Are you hearing me? Am I making sense? So either you're trying to get over there, and then you don't understand how your pieces are getting taken. Meaning the people that are supposed to be securing you are having to follow you out. And as they following you out, because your goal is getting to that other side, you're actually leaving them open to be taken and or imprisoned and or to be removed from the board, because you're leaving them open and you're one of the most powerful pieces. Why are you out there? The opposing team kept taking all my pieces because I was out there doing something I shouldn't have been doing. And I'm sitting there like, wait, why are my pieces getting taken? What in the world? Why am I losing here? Because I'm too gung-ho on focus on getting to the other side. Because see, certain pieces, if you move, I think it's the pawns. It's the little pieces that have the bubble top on them. Really short. You move those pieces across the board, you can actually turn them into queens. Some of y'all may be dealing with a factor of you're seeking to get to that other side because you know that there's elevation on that side. So if you're too focused on getting to that elevation, getting crowned, because everybody talking about is crowning season, right? Some of us feel like we the pawns, we the pieces that ain't nobody paying attention to, so we want to get where we trying to go, so that if we get there, we know that we gonna get crowned and elevated to where we supposed to be, and be able to say, oh, I'm here now. And you realize that if you get all those pieces across the board to the backside of your opponent's team, you can turn them all into queens. I think it's 3 pieces you can turn them in. It's the queen, you can turn it. You can't turn it into a queen. I mean, a king. But you can turn it into a queen. You can turn it into, I think it's a bishop. And you can turn it into whatever the horse is. I forget what the horse is. But it's like 3 pieces you can turn, and it's something else. I don't know what that something else is. I can't think of it off the top of my head. And most people, it's like, because the queen is the most powerful, I'm always like, oh, honey, I'm going to turn mine into a queen. Remember, we out here on queen life, yes? Because, one, that gives power on the opposite side of the board, but you also got to realize that if you turn it into a queen on that side, that queen is surrounded by enemies. Yes, that queen is now surrounded by enemies. And it has to get out from off of that side, but at the same time has the ability that because it's over there, it can take out the other pieces that are surrounding it because it's on that side. But it also has to watch its back because the king and the queen on that side can take it out too. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't be overzealous with your position trying to get there, because once you get there, you're going to be stuck in the middle. I heard Tiffany Montgomery say this years ago. You're going to be stuck in the middle of a bunch of sharks and vipers. That's the enemy side. That's the enemy side. All the black pieces. I'm white pieces. All the enemy sides over there. So if you manage to infiltrate your little behind and get over there, yay, you got crowned as queen. But you stick out like a sore thumb because now you're the white piece amongst all the enemies, which you think that they don't see you sitting there. And do realize, because you're over there, the king has no ability to help you either. Because he's on the side he's supposed to be on. Now, if you moved the queen that was next to the king, getting back to when I was talking about moving the king piece, king and the queen piece, when that queen moves out of her position, if I did not say this already, when she moves out of her position, she leaves the king open. So he over there flapping in the wind. If the queen that's on that side is moved to the opposite side of the board, you realize that you done left your king open. Not only have you left your king open, because the rooks and the bishops and all of them was trying to get to you to make sure that you were covered as you were leaving, because they got to operate, because they got to cover the king, and they got to cover you. Cover your back. It leaves the king open because there's nobody surrounding him to protect him. And this is when you see, because it's a digital game, it shows that your king piece is open. And just like your queen piece that you got on the opposite side to their board, their queen's coming for him. And that says a whole lot. Think about your kingdom spouse. If you leave your kingdom spouse open, you stop praying for him, you stop covering him, meaning sitting where you're supposed to be, instead of chasing, trying to get to the other side. For my career ladies out there, maybe God put you inside the house for a season. Are you going to be all right with that? And maybe you're not supposed to be out there with them like that. He needs you next to him in the house for a season. Or maybe he just needs you in the house where he knows where you at for a season. Don't need you being like that, like, oh, this may be your calling, but he has not sat down with you and helped you with that in the area he's supposed to help you with. Guess what? You gotta sit at home. Sit where he needs you to be. But you're sitting up there looking at the goal God already showed you. Oh, you're supposed to be on that side. I know you're supposed to be on that side, but did the king tell you when you were supposed to go over there? You see that? You see that? Am I making sense to you? So you sitting over here and you now have access to the king. You are in your queenship, but because he done gave you some information, you ran off and left him alone. And now he's out here in the wind. He out here in the wind. And because he out here in the wind, oh look, Jezebel. Here come Jezebel. Here she come. From the enemy's team. Here she come. Because you over there. On that side. Trying to live your best life. Trying to make out your career. It's not that I'm against anybody that wants to be that strong, independent woman. But when you get married, you're not independent. So you got to operate with partner moves, not individual ones. That's why some of y'all, you end up on the opposite side. And your spouse looking at you like, you just left me over here? And then are you wondering, oh, wait, why is the Jezebel over by my husband now? Entertaining conversation. But, oh, you on the wrong side anyway. Because you was too focused. Oh, I got to make sure that I get what God told me to get. I got to get to where he... No. Queen, go back and stand next to your king or you're going to lose the game. Am I making sense here? Because your most powerful position is standing next to the king. You leave the king exposed. Here comes Jezebel. And she coming to take over your side of the board. She coming to take control of your side of the board, meaning the enemy's infiltrating your territory. Excuse me? We can go into territory too. Because the enemy done, the king on that side has done sent a female manipulative Jezebel, operating in pride, operating in spirit of Leviathan. Here she come. And she know all she got to do is walk up in her red dress or what have you, and she's sitting up there. Oh, I'm gonna take out the servant on this side. I'm gonna take out security on this side. Let me make sure I take. Oop, look, imprisonment. My people done took them. Oop, imprisonment. My people done took them. Oop, imprisonment. Oh, look, where the queen at? She over on my side sitting up there trying to get her own thing. Trying to be out there in the industry. Yes, you're called to your husband's industry. But if you don't get the strategic moves to be over there, yeah, he may have told you a little something, but just because he told you a little something don't mean that you're supposed to be over there, out there, and done ran away from him. Let me tell you something. If you haven't understood so far, for those of you that powerful, independent woman, and you know how to operate, yes, you understand the industries that you're called to. God's already shown you all of that. But some of y'all trying to figure out, why am I still here in this situation? And God's sitting up there trying to tell you, the reason I ain't released you into that situation yet is because the second I release you into that situation, your eyes gonna get too big. You supposed to be where you supposed to be, and you ain't gonna be there. Because your eyes are gonna be like, okay, I finally made it to my marriage. Now let's see if we can get this career thing off the ground. I got the husband, I'm doing da-da-da-da. And husband's in up there like, wait, are you only here because you want to stand next to me, be able to say that you're standing next to me? This is dangerous. Because if he sees you, yeah, you ain't think about that. If he sees you, you done got the ring now. He's whining and dining you, and he got you all nice. And you start crawling over that way because of the lights and the glitter. And yes, it's what you're called to do. But there's a saying that I always give everybody. If you run out ahead of your spouse, it's a 3-legged race. God's the third leg. If you're calling yourself trying to run on a 3-legged race, you running. Your foot, if your spouse ain't running with you, you gonna fall flat on your face. Try to run over there if you want to. Just because you got the husband now, you want to get your career right. Without him helping you, or walking at the pace in which he's trying to get you there, you're gonna fall flat on your face, because he's gonna stand there and look at you and be like, what is she doing and where is she going? Ooh, am I making sense? But then if he was moving at his natural pace, because he probably slowed down for you, if he was moving at his natural pace and wasn't allowing you to catch up, what would happen? He'd be dragging you, wouldn't he? He'd be dragging you, right? You think that the man isn't going to be, especially anybody called to marry somebody of affluence, sit down and know your position. Because I guarantee you, the first thing that man is looking for is the fact of, is she going to sit still and be here with me, or is she going to get attracted to the lights out there? Understand that any man especially if he got common sense. If he brings a person that is brand new into his situation and he has lights on him, you think that he's not going to be paying attention if you jump up and start running across the street to the lights? You think he ain't going to pay attention to that? And he ain't going to be observing that? You think? Yeah, you called to it. But did God say move there yet? A marriage is two people walking at a specific pace together. Know your pace, or you're going to miss something. And I also wanted to bring up this point. I was watching one of my shows, the show I always talk about, because it's the best example I can give y'all. The Demon Slayer. She had been lured to Dracula's mansion. Dracula is your opponent. He has a bunch of his own people in that castle. Why do I use this as an example? Because 9 times out of 10, these are the types of pieces are on a board. A castle and people in relation to a castle on a checkerboard. What did I just say? The seductress and queen is going to come forth towards you first. What happened in that episode is when they were going in to the opponent's side, what would happen is they were using a level of manipulative magic and witchcraft that even when you came onto the premises, think about how the enemy worked. You trying to get onto the enemy side in order to take the enemy out, but how you gonna play the enemy on his territory? You draw the enemy towards you because you got better leverage on your side of the board. So they're in the enemy's territory, and the first thing that the enemy sends out, which was Dracula in that particular episode, is he sends out the seductresses to immediately distract the men. These women turned around there and dropped the father figure, which is the watcher, into a hole, and then we're sitting up there trying to seduce him. This is what, it was the best example I could give you. This is what the enemy is going to do to all your pieces by your king if you sitting up there. Oh, let me go over there. Let me go focus my energy on the opposite side. Know your season. A lot of you coming into these marriages, it ain't gonna be your season for entrepreneurship. Know your season. You ain't gonna be able to be in entrepreneurship running out here being every woman. You gonna need to focus on home, because that man's gonna be willing. Because if God sent him, he's going to be willing to sit with you. And you're going to have to focus your energy on home for a season. That doesn't mean that you won't have little side projects that you're doing, but your central energy may be at home. Because for one, he got to see that he can trust who. Do you realize that you coming into this, especially those of y'all called to Isaac and Rebecca situations, you're coming into this like that. And because you're coming into this like that, you think that man is like blind? You thought he's gonna marry you because the Lord said so, but you think he ain't gonna be looking at you like, now I gotta see what she's talking about, because just like you gonna be looking at them because of the fact that, yes, God said this, but I still need to see how you move. I can have all the love in my heart for you, but I still got to see how you move. I love you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but to my Isaac and Rebecca situations, they still gonna be looking at you a little bit side-eyed until they get used to you being around. Because this type of relationship is not one that's going to be sitting up there like, oh, they didn't get to court like they normally do. So they're going to be looking at you side-eyed just a little bit. Just a little bit until they get used to you being around. And be like, oh, I can let my guard down with you fully. Because wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? You just going to jump in a relationship? Hey, maybe that's the type of person that you were. But, yeah. Understand your position and play the position that God has given you in this man's life properly. Or else you're going to miss it. And don't think that that man can't divorce you. Even if he got to marry you again. Go watch Prophet Parham. She was married to her God-ordained spouse. He separated from her. They were separated for years. They just got back together. Don't think that man can't leave you once you get him. Remember when Fantasia got married? Fantasia said that when she married her husband, she acted a little bit of a fool, and they broke up after about 2 weeks of being together, and then she needed to be by herself for a period of time, and she came to the realization real quick, oh, I'm supposed to be with this person. Don't think that your spouse can't dump you. Just because, oh, God gave you a relationship. Okay, God. Yeah, he did. He did. And know that the enemy will bring about focal points and areas to make that man think about this. Because remember, the enemy don't want you to stay married. So he gonna be on his game. Pay close attention, because you're coming in to the board. Getting back to what I was saying at the beginning. Remember, I jumped directly into the board. I didn't go back and refresh my information on how to play the game. And because of that, I was losing. Some of y'all need to refresh your information on what kind of marriage you're walking into. Because this is chess, not checkers. And there are enemies and vipers and snakes over there. As much as you gonna love this man, there's going to be things on his side that you got to be aware of. And you got to play your position correctly and stand next to your man. Because if you are out there flapping in the wind, doing what you want, leaving that man, guess what? There's still viperous women over there that are love to slip right back in. And they going to hop up